When detectives questioned the officers who killed Stephon Clark, each of them leaned on the same soft explanation for why their body cams suddenly went silent.
For a personal conversation.
One officer said,
"Cameras were muted because we were going to have a personal conversation about my concern for them."
Another insisted.
I was on the perimeter basically at that point and wasn't really doing a canvas or anything or talking to the public or doing anything really to investigate besides securing the scene.
Calm, polished, rehearsed. But the detective didn't challenge them with anger. He challenged them with something far more dismantling: psychology.
What was going on in your mind? What were you thinking?
That question snapped their narrative. Not because it was loud, but because it was unexpected. This is expectation violation theory in action. The moment the suspect's comfort collapses when the evidence moves in a direction they didn't anticipate. But what actually happened on that day that shocked the entire America? Welcome back to my channel. I don't have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me. On the night of March 18th, 2018, around 9:18 p.m., a quiet stretch of 29th Street in Sacramento sat under a cold, moonless sky, the neighborhood barely lit except for dim porch lights and scattered street lamps. A 911 call reported someone breaking into cars.
911, what's location of the emergency? 29th Street. 29th Street, thank you. Hi, what's going on there?
Yeah, guys going down the street breaking windows of cars. He busted both my truck windows out. He busted in the people's backyard right now, across the street from my place. He busted two of my windows in. He broke the car's window out across the street from me.
One officer was already patrolling. Another had just arrived. In the darkness, so heavy that police body cam footage later needed brightness enhancement. The officers split up, regrouped, and knocked on a homeowner's door.
And wait for the homeowner to answer.
Police. Can we check your backyard real quick? Supposedly somebody just broke some windows over here and then ran through your yard.
Oh?
Yeah.
Some window?
There's a shed. Somebody broke some windows over here on vehicles.
Okay.
And then when they were confronted, jumped your fence right here. We just want to check your backyard and make sure they're not still back there.
Yeah, let me just make sure my 3 dogs are in my garage.
The dogs barked as the woman moved her pets to the garage so police could search her yard. 7 minutes in, the backyard was clear and the officers returned to the street. Suddenly, the sheriff's helicopter spotted movement. Stephon Clark was seen hopping a fence, unknowingly into his grandmother's backyard. He walked up a driveway, looked into a car, then saw the officers. At 8.5 minutes, they shouted,
Hey, show me your hands!
A second later,
Stop! Show me your hands! Good! Five, 7 shots fired, some say go.
20 shots erupted in 5 seconds. So, the officers involved behind these blatant killings were brought in for the interrogation. Let's look into the psychological aspects of this case.
All right. Few formalities. I'm Detective Griggs, Griggs. You are Jared Robinet. Robinet. I'm sorry. It's Robinet. And I forgot your name, sir. I'm sorry.
Ace Tate, counsel for the officer.
Okay. Stagger law firm.
Yes.
Okay. Just to give you an idea kind of how I want to do things. There's some technical stuff I want to ask you about your career, your shift, stuff like that ahead of time. Then we'll talk about the day, your shift today. And then I'll probably just open it up to you, just like you'd write your observations, kind of tell me what happened, and I might have some questions. And we'll kind of go through it like that. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free. Okay. How long have you been with SAC-PD?
I've been with SAC-PD for a little over 4 years.
4 years. You're lateral, or did you go through our academy?
I went through the academy, but I came from a federal law enforcement agency.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
I was with the Border Patrol.
Okay. How long were you with the Border Patrol?
5 years.
Okay.
Approximately.
Our academy, do you remember which number it was? With
14 BR1.
14 BR1. And for Border Patrol, is there an academy or is there?
Yeah, there's an academy.
Which one was that? Do you remember?
It's through FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center.
Okay.
And class number 910.
910. And that was you were with them for about 5 years. What did you do for the Border Patrol?
I was a patrol agent.
Okay. I guess I just don't know anything about the Border Patrol.
Yeah. You want me to go into the primary duties or?
Is it just typical law enforcement on the border?
It's typical law enforcement duties as far as the Border Patrol is concerned.
Okay, gotcha.
The Border Patrol is not typical.
Okay.
And most of it was mountainous terrain where we entered sensors and tracked groups of individuals.
Right now, the detective isn't just making small talk. He's building a profile. By going over Robinette's training, experience, and use of force options, he's setting up a baseline. Was this a scared rookie or a trained officer who should have known better?
911, what's location of the emergency? 29th Street. 29th Street, thank you. Hi, what's going on there?
Yeah, guys going down the street breaking windows of cars. He busted both my truck windows out. He busted these in the people's backyard right now, across the street from my place. He busted two of my windows in. He broke the car's window out across the street from me.
Okay.
Cornered in people's backyard right now.
Do you know which yard he's in, what the address is?
Oh, I can't see the address on the house. The lights are off.
Which?
The lights in the house are on.
What?
Oh, it's the house he's in the backyard. He's in.
This is the backyard he's in?
Yep, in 29th Street.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did he use to break the windows?
I have no idea. I came out and I heard the noise. I came outside and he was standing right along the side of my truck and I grabbed my ball bat. I was going to, you know what I mean? But I didn't hit him or nothing like that. He's in the backyard right here right now. He's still back there. He's trying to get over the fence. He can't go anywhere else. The dogs are all the way around him right now.
Okay. What is he? Black light sanitation?
He had a hoodie on. I couldn't tell, man.
What color hoodie?
It's black. He's black hoodie, and it looks like he has some kind of pants on, but they have like white stripes or white dots on them or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not blue jeans or anything like that. They're like, I don't know. They got different colors on them.
Okay. Hang tight with me for 1 second here. I'm just getting the...
Not a problem.
Okay. For your shift today, anything unusual happened before, obviously the call we're going to talk about, but any crazy calls?
No, the majority of today, I was hospital watch on a prisoner from day shift.
Okay. Do you remember what time or about when you stopped being hospital watch? You know,
no.
Guess if you don't
I'm trying to think. It wasn't. I know I transported to the jail. And it was starting to get dark.
Okay, cool. All right, the call on 29th Street. Do you remember how it came in?
It came in. Well, initially dispatch called it 927, suspicious subject or circumstances, and quickly changed it to a 921 with the car clout.
Okay.
They stated that an individual was breaking windows in vehicles along 29th Street.
Okay.
You're hearing two different versions of the same moment. The caller is emotional, focusing on broken windows and barking dogs. Robinette's version is more structured and technical. Those gaps matter later, because any difference between the 911 call and the officer's memory can be used to attack his credibility.
He's still in the backyard back there. I can hear him looking over the fence. I hear him jiggling on the fence, trying to get over it, I think.
And this is the corner of 29th and Twilight, right? Pretty close?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's close. It's close.
A few houses down from that?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your name, sir?
My name is... Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you mind staying on the phone with me until we get officers there so that you can let me know if you see him move? Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
And he's still in the backyard from what you can tell right
now,
right?
I can hear him back there. I can hear him back there. I think I hear him back there. There's something back there. The dog's still barking back there in the backyard.
Okay. And you saw him jump back there?
Yes.
Okay.
I chased him down there.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, he's still back there.
Okay, good. We have officers on the way right now, so we can see where they're at. Hold on. We have the helicopter coming out, too, see if they can see him.
Okay. They got two of my truck windows, both my truck windows, and the car across the street window.
Okay.
No, that was still quiet over there. I hope he's still back there. No, they're still barking. You hear him on the phone, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's still barking back there, so I think he's still there.
Okay. Could you tell me about how tall he was, what kind of body style he had?
Probably about 6 foot tall, maybe 6'3", maybe at the most. You know, and he's thin built.
A black hoodie. Any pattern or stripes or anything on the hoodie?
I didn't see anything on the hoodie, but the pants have like design on it of some sort. You know what I mean? They're not pants like jeans. They're like maybe Hershey pants type things. I guess I don't know what you call them.
What kind of design? Like stripes or polka dots, or do you remember?
Yeah, it's just some kind of design. No, I didn't see too well. Cause it kind of pissed me off. I was more angry than anything else, and I didn't know what pattern it was. But there was white dots or white specks, something like that on.
Yeah, I'm sure once your adrenaline kicks in like that, it's hard to.
Yeah.
No problem.
At this stage, officers still think they're dealing with a property crime. But watch how quickly it escalates. The helicopter is guiding units, locking in on heat signatures in backyards. A simple car clout call is quietly turning into a manhunt in a dark, crowded neighborhood.
And was giving us updates about, checking that backyard, not seeing anything. I advised him that the call told me that he ran westbound over that fence. Okay. And advised Star to maybe check kind of northwest from there. Mm-hmm. And he acknowledged it, or the pilot acknowledged it, and stated that there was a vehicle kind of over by Coral Gables. Mm-hmm. Like in that, I believe it's a church parking lot that backs up to the houses on. You're talking about behind? Yeah, that backs up to the houses along the west side of 29th. Gotcha. Said that there was a car back there. There was somebody in the driver's seat. They were using FLIR cameras, so they only saw the heat, no description. And we advised we check that after we checked the backyard. Mm-hmm. So back to the backyard. Backyard was clear. Both Mercadal and I came out from the backyard, gave an update to dispatch that the yard was clear, and asked Star if he still had eyes on that vehicle that was supposed to be in that parking lot. Mm-hmm. Walking out to my car, because I was expecting to drive over there, Star gave an update saying that he had an individual in the backyard of the house, approximately 2 houses south of our location. Mm-hmm. I don't recall him giving an address at that time. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't recall him giving an address at that time, but he said that it looked like the individual was attempting to break into that house and that he had a crowbar in his hand.
Here's the tragic irony. What looks like suspicious behavior to police, jumping fences, knocking on bedroom windows, was normal inside Stephon's family. He used this route to get into his grandparents' home. The same routine that once meant safety is now the path that leads him into a fatal encounter.
As we hit the corner, the northwest corner of the house in the backyard, I observed the suspect standing approximately what I thought was around 15 to 20 feet away, in the isosceles position, with his hands punched out in front of him, holding an object. I gotta digress. I forgot to mention that when clearing the backyard, my tack light stopped working, and I was using my flashlight. Okay. So, due to the subject breaking the glass, thinking maybe he was trying to break into the house, completely unknown what he had in his hands when Terrence followed him in the backyard. I had not seen the subject up until that point where we hit that corner. Okay. As soon as I turned the corner, I saw him punched out like that. When you say punched out like that, punched out with the isosceles hands, both hands on an object like this. When you say isosceles, where do you know that from? Training, range training, firearms training. Built the isosceles stance because it's a triangle. Your arms form a triangle, your feet are positioned usually about shoulder length apart. Okay. That's a common firing position for, we were taught in firearms training, taught that in border patrol, taught that here. Okay. I recognize that as a position somebody shoots from.
Okay.
I could see that there was something in the suspect's hands. I wasn't able to make it out. I saw something, reflection of what I thought was a metal object in his hand. From the reflection of our lights, to the backyard was really dark.
This is the split second everything turns lethal. Robinette says he sees a classic shooting stance in a metallic object. It's dark, his gun light has failed, and his brain fills in the blanks. Gun. Whether that perception was accurate or not is the core question of this entire case.
It was hard to see, make out anything clear. All I saw was a subject in dark clothing standing in that position with his hands punched out with something in his hands. Mercadal yelled gun out of instinct. I ducked behind the corner real quick and covered, came back around, and to get an idea what was going on, saw the suspect still standing in that position, still punched out at us. I honestly was really surprised that I hadn't heard gunshots yet, and to protect myself and Terrence, I fired what I thought was 5 rounds on the scene, and later thought was maybe more.
Okay.
And that time, Terrence started firing as well.
Okay. When did you stop firing?
As a suspect, though, to the ground.
Okay. Why?
I didn't feel like there was a threat anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, the suspect was down, and there was no threat anymore.
Okay. When you came around the corner and when you say you saw him punch down like that, how did you feel? How did that make you feel?
I was scared. Like I was saying, I was scared he was going to shoot us.
Okay.
I really felt like that was a gun. His position, like I said, was something I recognize as a firing position from all the training, all the firearms training that I've been through in the last 9 years.
And when you said you were surprised you didn't hear gunshots yet, what did you mean?
I was surprised that he hadn't started firing at us.
So not that,
because he had, as we hit that corner, I know Terrence was a little bit in front of me, and I know he actually came out past the corner.
Okay.
The autopsy battle made things worse. One expert misidentified exit wounds as entry wounds, suggesting Stephon was mostly shot in the back as he fled. Later reviews still showed shots to his side and back, but more consistent with the officer's version. For the public, those nuances don't erase the image of a man shot multiple times while unarmed.
He completely had the drop on us, meaning that he would have started, could have started shooting and would have easily hit Terrence.
5-7 shots fired, subject down. Show me your hands! I see your hands! .57, he's down. No movement. We're gonna need additional units. Come in from the west to east of this yard. Let's see your hands! You all right? You hit? Yeah, I'm good. All right. He was still pointing. Oh, shit. When I saw him, you all right, dude? Yeah, I'm all right. I don't think I've hit or anything. All right. I got him at gunpoint, dude. All right. You wanna, what you wanna do? Do a tactical reload, okay? All right, copy. I think I shot about 5 times. Stand by. Stand by on that. He's still down. He's not moving. We can't see the gun. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, I'm gonna reload. All right, go. I got you. Go. You got a light on him? Got him. Negative. Neither one of us are hit. We're okay. Suspect's down. Good? Yeah. All right.
Listen carefully after the shots. The officers keep shouting, "Show me your hands," but don't move in. Tactically, they're taught not to rush a suspect who might still be armed. Morally, this 5-minute delay feels unbearable, especially for a family watching a loved one bleed out on their own property.
All right. Sorry. All right. Let me,
Okay, okay, just a few follow-up things. I know some of them we touched on. We tried to get a little more into it. Do you and Terrence ride together as partners ever?
No.
Have you guys been on teams before together?
Terrence rode with me one day when he was in training.
Okay.
Just as like a substitute field training officer.
Okay. He's on your team though? Or are you guys on the same team?
He's on the same team as me now.
Is that since the beginning of the year?
Yes.
Okay, so 2.5
whenever that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as partners, he rode with you one day in training and then?
Yeah, a couple of years, like when he was, I think he may have been phase 1 at the time.
Okay. All right. Are you injured at all?
No.
Okay. Do you wear an earpiece in your ear?
I do.
Okay. It's not, I don't see it now, is it?
No, I did take that off.
Okay.
It's attached to my vest. Took off as well.
Okay. I noticed on the body camera I couldn't hear the dispatch at all, but you guys seemed to. So I was curious anyway.
Now you're seeing the part that destroys public trust. Officers admit the body cameras were turned off or muted while they checked on Robinette. Department lawyers had advised that before, but to viewers, it looks like a huddle off camera where the story can be softened before the official interviews begin.
What do you remember thinking in your head?
Right at the moment?
Yeah, when you came around the corner and you saw him.
To be frank, it was, oh shit. And that's also when, I was really surprised that he hadn't started shooting on us.
What were you concerned about?
I was concerned about getting shot, and I was concerned about Terrence getting shot.
And where was Terrence?
Terrence at that point was to my right, a little bit behind.
Okay. Behind the house, or was he kind of exposed?
Like he was more exposed than I was.
Okay.
He was further into the backyard. Like he had not really necessarily stopped at the corner where I stopped to get a view of what was going on. So he exposed himself into the backyard where I stopped to take a little bit of cover at the corner of the house.
And you said you were surprised that you weren't
taking rounds.
And is that when you decided to fire?
It was instantaneous.
Okay.
It was a situation. It was so quick. I hit the corner. I knew Terrence had traveled further into the backyard than I did and was exposed. Terrence yelled gun. I tucked in real quick, came back out, saw him in the same position, and still being surprised that I wasn't taking rounds this whole time, decided to fire and in the threat before we actually started taking rounds.
Okay.
And we're talking about an instantaneous situation.
Okay.
There's a way I perceive it.
In that moment, did you feel like you had any other choice?
No.
Okay. Did you feel like there was a deadly threat to you and Terrence?
Yes.
In this interview, Robinette leans on one central idea: fear. He repeatedly says he thought Stephon was about to shoot him and his partner, and that he had no other choice. Legally, that fear is crucial, because in use of force law, the standard isn't was he right. Was his fear objectively reasonable in that moment?
You walk up, you see Officer Robinette, and you say something to the effect, how are you doing? And he says, I'm good.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, and that was it. I mean, we kind of, I knew what had happened. Something had happened.
Did you know that Officer Robinette was involved at that point in time?
I didn't. I had the suspicion that he was because he was on the call. He was the one that put out all officers are okay. So I had a feeling that he was involved, and I knew we couldn't really talk about it, so I'm just trying to get the feeling for how he's doing.
Okay.
So.
And then at one point he turned your body camera off.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys talk about after that body camera gets
just the stress and, you know, whatever he's feeling at the moment. It's just, like, I remember he kind of said some stuff, about, you know, he's kind of getting stuff off his chest because he just went through the event, but he said, you know, I swore it was a gun, and he took that stance. So I remember him saying that, and then like I didn't have him talk anymore. I don't remember anything he said after that. Really, it was more just I could tell from dealing with him in the past, you know, that it was affecting him, and you know, kind of was emotional about it, but that's all I can remember.
Do you remember about how long the conversation lasted?
I don't. I remember if I recall, because I met with him twice that night, and I believe that one, I think other officers were around, and we were kind of joking with him and stuff like that. I remember.
Later on?
That may have been later on, because I think that first one was really quick. I don't remember.
By the end of this first part, the picture is incomplete on purpose. We have an officer who insists he saw a gun, a man who only had a phone, and a department that muted its own cameras in the aftermath. In part 2, we'll look at the legal findings, the public fallout, and what this case really says about fear, race, and accountability in American policing.
So I'll just tell you, based on the videos we just watched, your body camera turns off at 21:39:04, and then turns back on at 21:41:33, 2 minutes and 30 seconds later, and that's when you see you're walking with, I believe it's Officer Taylor or someone else.
Yeah.
Robinette was not shown on your body camera, and you were kind of walking towards another.
So that was it. Like I just checked in with Robinette real quick, seeing how he was doing, and then I wanted to get useful as I could because, you know, I know they need lots of bodies, so I started walking down. At some point I think I was talking to Taylor about, hey, what do we need? What's going on? Do we have canvas going on? That kind of stuff. So.
Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next question. After you talk to Robinette for, we'll say, that 2 minute and 30 something second window about that, then you walk off and your body camera reactivates. Do you remember if you turned it on? How did that work?
I would have to have turned it on because he slid it off, so I would have to slide it on and double tap it.
Okay, and then it appears like you have that same 30-second or so previous where it's muted, and then it goes live, and then you immediately mute the camera after that.
Right.
What were you doing after that, I guess?
So most of it was really just trying to figure out what I could do to help people. So I was checking with different people, finding out where they needed bodies, what I could help out with. And at some point I know, I talked to Sergeant Bell because she was kind of she was dealing with a lot of the stuff.
The detective repeatedly presses the officers about why their microphones were muted, what they talked about, who was present, and why it wasn't recorded. This tactic corners them by forcing a detailed justification for a behavior that already appears suspicious.
Prior to coming in here, you've had the opportunity to review your supplement as well as your body-worn camera footage. And so going back to the officer-involved shooting, I just wanted to speak with you regarding once you got on scene at some point, your body-worn camera was muted. Can you tell me why it was muted?
Yes, just for a personal conversation.
I want to go to your body-worn camera video that you had a chance to review. I want to talk about when you first arrive on scene and you approach Officer Robinette and Officer Mercadale. Can you please explain to me the reasoning behind you muting your body-worn camera?
When I made contact with them, we walked out to the street. The cameras were muted because we were going to have a personal conversation about my concern for them. My concern for them was still that they were injured or hurt, physically or emotionally. And so the body cams were muted, and I asked them, hey, are you guys okay?
At some point, you mute your body-worn camera. Do you recall muting it, or do you?
I do recall muting my camera.
Okay. Why did you mute it?
I was on a perimeter basically at that point, and I wasn't really doing a canvas or anything, or talking to the public, or doing anything really to investigate besides securing the scene.
Okay.
Instead of asking one broad question about the muted moments, the detective isolates each interaction. One with Robinette, one with Callie, one with Lazaro, one with the sergeant. This breaks the officer's defense into smaller pieces and increases the chance that inconsistencies appear.
I wanted to speak with you regarding the incident that happened on Sunday, March 18th. So before you came in here, you had a chance to review your supplement and then also watch your body-worn camera footage. And so there's just some things that we need to clarify with that. Okay. But first, can you tell me, when you were on the way to the call and you were hearing the updates over the radio, what was going through your mind?
My partner and I were sitting down for code 7. We heard this call come out. We heard Eric get overhead and start putting out that they had eyes on him. He was starting to move south through the backyards. So we had our radios up and we're listening to it, and it's just like any other call. Officers arrive on scene, they mark on scene, and then we get updates from Air that, they see him breaking out a sliding glass window. He's continuing south, up and over a fence. Officers are making contact, and then the original shots fired call came out from Air. When that came out, my partner and I ran to a patrol vehicle, got in, and started moving towards the call.
Okay. And so as you're going to the call, and you're hearing the updates from STAR and from dispatch and from the officers, what's going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is that officers just had to shoot at the suspect. And in my mind, I was going through, are my officers okay? Are they safe? An update did come out that officers were safe, but you still have that concern for your teammates and your fellow officers that anytime that there's an incident that involves discharge of firearm, there's always that level of the officer's life was in danger or somebody's life was in danger. So my fear was one of them was injured, but okay.
Okay.
The detective starts by allowing officers to give long, uninterrupted explanations. Once they've committed to that version, he circles back with pointed questions about timing, sequence, and motivation.
I looked, and based on the light coming off of my tactical light, it appeared, I thought that he had already shot at me because I saw what I believed to be a metallic reflection or muzzle flash, something coming at me. So I was scared. I thought that he had shot at me. I think I remember yelling gun, and I ducked back behind the corner of the house for cover. By this time I realized Officer Robinette was there next to me on my left side. And for a second I thought I had to kind of get my bearings and did I see what I thought I saw? And I poked my head back out around the corner, way further than I should have put it out there. And I see that the subject is advancing towards us, and I see that same bright metallic shining of the light in his hands. And I thought was approaching and shooting at us. And so I remember ducking for cover. I ducked, grabbed cover behind the corner of the house, and then I remember kneeling down on the left knee and returning fire, because I believe we were being fired upon. I believe I fired 10 times, and we saw the subject go down, and we began to give him, kind of verbal commands for us to, for him to show us his hands. He wasn't moving anymore, but we could only see his right hand. His left hand appeared to be kind of tucked in under his body.
The detective repeatedly aligns what officers assumed, e.g., thinking the suspect had fired at them, with what they actually observed: no gun, no muzzle flash, poor lighting.
What type of lighting was there in that area?
Well, in that area, it was extremely dark. There was street lighting on 29th Street, but as you know, street lighting is kind of scattered around. So when we approached this residence, the residence was dark. Didn't appear that anybody was awake at all. There were no lights on at the house. There were no lights on the front porch, no lights in the backyard. And it was kind of in a shadowy area where there was no street lights illuminating anything. And it was extremely dark back there. So I remember having to illuminate. I did have my gun out, just based on not knowing what's going on. The information I had received from Star that he didn't know what kind of weapon the person had in his hands. And I remember accessing the tack light on my weapon in order to kind of illuminate the area where I was looking.
Okay. Did you also use your handheld flashlight?
While I was walking on the street, yes, I did. There was a point in time where I had holstered my gun and I brought my flashlight out. I used my department issued, the Pelican flashlight, because it's pretty bright. And I had that in my left hand, and I was kind of using that to shine light around so I can kind of see what was going on, see what Star was talking about. Apparently, Star had given us information that the person was running towards the front of the house, and I was like, well, I don't see anybody. I don't know what he's talking about. So,
okay.
No.
And so, I want to go back to when you're standing at the residence where you see the suspect.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned that you had said something to him. What was it that you had said to him?
I had given him verbal commands to show me his hands.
The detective asks repeatedly about lighting, shadows, visibility, whether commands were given, and exact positions in total darkness. This forces the officer to reconstruct the moment frame by frame, increasing the cognitive load and decreasing the likelihood of an effortless lie.
And I think there was some kind of table or bench to the left side, like a wooden picnic bench or something. And I remember seeing him standing like this. When I first come around the corner, he's standing like this. And that's, at the time, I thought I saw a muzzle flash. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, this is shooting at me. Second time I come back around, he had advanced and moved up. He wasn't in that same position he was in. It looked like he was moving forward like this.
Okay.
So that's when I took cover and returned fire.
Okay. And so the first time you saw him with his arms extended, what was going on in your mind? What were you thinking?
First thing I thought, I was like, wow, that was stupid of me to come around the corner that fast, and I remember thinking, I was like, this guy's freaking shooting at me. I was like, is that a gun? He's shooting at me. And it was kind of surreal. It was almost in like slow motion. And I was like, this dude's freaking shooting at me. I was like, he's really shooting at me. And so I remember, get out of the way, dummy. That was my first instinct. And kind of ducking around. And then Jared had kind of taken a way better position than me and had kind of
kept himself on the corner, and then he ducked back, and I remember him ducking forward again. At the same time, I ducked forward to kind of reaffirm what we saw. And then again, that's when I noticed the huge gap that the subject had made. You know, he had moved, I don't know, maybe possibly 10 feet or more up towards us. And I remember ducking back behind cover like, oh shoot, you know, he's shooting right now, he's approaching.
The detective shifts the questioning from physical actions to emotional reactions. What were you thinking? How did you feel? Were you scared? And then compares those emotional claims to the officer's tactical behavior.
And then did you intend to shoot the subject?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And why?
I was in fear for my life. I thought he was already shooting at me. So I wanted to return fire to stop the threat.
Okay. And going back to your body-worn camera, were you wearing it at the time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And was it turned on and recording?
It was activated and recording.
Okay. Have you attended CPT yet this year?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What about last year CIT training?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Are you 11550 trained?
Yes.
Okay. Did this subject exhibit any symptoms that you could have perceived as possibly the subject suffering from mental health issues?
I was unable to determine any of that. It was extremely dark. When I initially gave him a command to show me his hands, he attempted to run and flee from me. I never heard him say a word or anything, nor did I even get a good look at his face to see, you know, his mental status or if he's under the influence or anything. Everything moved really fast.
The detective keeps invoking their academy lessons, tactical training, body cam policy, and CIT exposure. Once he establishes what a properly trained officer should do, he compares their actions to that expected standard.
Yeah, I remember Starr had given an update that he initially had checked the area, had initially checked the house that we were the primary call for service that we were at that residence, and he didn't see any heat signatures there. And he began kind of having a wider circling pattern. I remember seeing that. He was looking for, you know, anybody hiding in backyards, and initially he didn't see anything. He broadcasted he saw that suspicious vehicle in the field to the west. That might be worth taking a look at. And those were kind of the updates we heard until after we cleared that yard and we come back out and tell them, hey, we're going to go look at that car. That's when Starr said, hey, I actually have somebody, you know, in the backyard 2 houses down from you, south of you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you recall if at any point Starr had broadcasted that the subject had broken a window at a residence?
I recall that Starr had said the subject had broken a window. I don't know if it was at a residence. I believed he had said at a car.
Okay.
I thought.
Okay. Well, I think this concludes the interview. Do you have anything to add?
I have no questions.
No questions? Okay.
I'm good.
Good? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Many questions are framed to prompt long explanations, even about irrelevant events like canvassing houses or blocking traffic. The more the officer talks, the more opportunities he has to contradict himself or reveal hidden motivations. In the interrogation, the detective methodically interrogated officers involved in the shooting of Stephon Clark, focusing on muted body cam audio, the decision-making process, moment-by-moment perceptions, and consistency with departmental training. He established the officer's training and experience, asked for detailed sensory recall of the incident scene, probe the rationale behind tactical decisions, like firing and reloading, and scrutinize communications lapses. From a legal perspective, the detective achieved a defensible record of the officer's subjective belief of threat, anchored that belief in policy consistency, and created a transcript with minimal factual gaps or readily exploitable vagaries. These actions strengthen any prosecution by locking the narrative into the officer's version, making it harder to later argue that the threat was unreasonable or the response is unjustified. Following the fatal shooting of Stephon Clark, prosecutors determined that the two involved officers, Terrence Mercadal and Jared Robinette, would not face criminal charges. On March 2, 2019, the Sacramento County District Attorney announced that under California law, the officers had probable cause to stop and detain Clark and were legally justified in using deadly force based on the circumstances they encountered. Subsequently, on the federal level, the U.S. Attorney's Office concluded on September 26, 2019, that there was insufficient evidence to support federal civil rights charges. Because no criminal sentencing occurred, the legal finality lies in the decision not to prosecute rather than a conviction or prison term.